Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the Friday version of Harmonize 2Energize. My name is Terry Matthews. I work remotely for Mary Burmeister Jin Shin Jyutsu Institute, the authentic source of Jin Shin Jyutsu in the world, as brought to us by Mary Burmeister and Jiro Murai. And for those of you that are completely new to Jin Shin Jyutsu, it is an art of balancing energy in the body, and we do this by placing our left and right hands on what we call safety energy locks, or the acupuncturist call points, which control the movement or not of energy up and down and through energy pathways. There are 26 of these energy locks left and right of the spine. By placing our hands on appropriate ones, we can release tensions, harmonize, and energize. So welcome, everybody. And those of you that were with me on Wednesday may remember that we celebrated or remembered Mary Burmeister, the founder of Jin Shin Jyutsu in the US, and in fact, the main progenitor of Jin Shin Jyutsu through the world, although she was taught by the master Murai. When she left Japan, it was her role to really simplify what he had taught her and disseminate it to the Western world. And she did so successfully for several years before transitioning in January 27th of 2008. So today, as we continue with our exploration of the safety energy locks, it just so happens, coincidentally, we arrive back at safety energy lock 13. And those of you that saw me discuss safety energy lock 13 either on Kelly Mount's Tuesday morning work study group, or here when I was using Paul Foster Case's tarot book, will know that one of the understandings of 13 is death. I don't personally like that word. It sounds too harsh to me. I prefer the word transformation. And as I mentioned briefly on Wednesday, having had that near-death experience, I realized it was a transformation from my physical self to my spiritual self. There wasn't any death of the essential me. It was just a change. So anyway, to continue with our journey with the safety energy locks, this time around, I'm referencing main central extracts, which are all put together in 0 to 26. And let's have a look at some comments, some insights given by 3 instructors, 2 of whom are no longer with Mary Burmeister Jin Shin Jyutsu Institute, but they were. Susan Mary Brooks, Jed Schwartz, and Matthias Roth. Let's begin with Susan Brooks. How appropriate the timing is to comment on safety energy lock 13 as I sit with my 2-month-old little girl, Grace. Without having received hundreds of 13 flows over the years of wanting to conceive, perhaps Grace would never have arrived. And of course, grace can be seen as something that is given to us unconditionally. However, they also say the Creator helps those who help themselves. So doing the 13th flow obviously could have helped Susan Brooks conceive and bring forward grace into the world. 13 symbolizes, as she says, the Creator, the energy of heaven, allowing that energy from source to infill each of us with its brilliant light and inspiration. I think that probably happens, and the clairvoyants will see that when we receive grace through prayer. It probably does come in the form of light, maybe even sound. Anyway, Susan goes on to say, as we are aware, creativity expresses itself through each of us in different ways, fertility being only one of these forms. So 13 can be seen as a number of fertility, reproduction, regeneration, and creativity. Now let's have a listen to what Matthias had to say. Opposite 10 on the bus line, 10 is at the back, there is a 13 on the front. It is the appetite of the soul for something new. So maybe you could say transformation of the old, death of the old, something new. What got you into a heaven is your 12, thy will be done versus my will be done. Sorry, thy will, my will. And you got attuned to the direction, the voice within. Thy will be done, you said, and became a surfer on the ocean of life, following the waves smoothly. I like that image. Matthias was a Pisces. No, I wonder why he would use that kind of image. Anyway, as you give up control, the creative powers of 13 begin to unfold within you. An appetite to look beyond duality, no separation. Fertility arises when separation yields to union for at least a moment. 13, made up of 1 for unity and 3 for trinity, leads back to unity through the power of 3. In 1, 2, 3, the cosmic waltz melts seeming opposites together into one again. And he goes on to say, and then it's heaven. I'm in heaven. Oh, he must have known about 13 heavenly Freddists. Brilliant. Okay, finally, last but not least, we have Jed Schwartz commentary. Safety Energy Lock 13 speaks to me of love, my heart open and flowing, allowing my true spirit to come forth and radiate out to all. And here we return to this idea of loving thy enemies. As he quotes here, Mary has shared with us that 13 means love thine enemies. And Paul Foster Case mentions death is one of the greatest enemies of humanity, one of the greatest fears. And Jed goes on to say in the New Testament, Matthew 5:43-46 and Luke 6:27-35, both state that it's easy to love those that love us, but true love is when we can love those that don't treat us kindly. If we truly love, then there really isn't any enemy, but we in fact become one with love and each other. Now we're talking about forgiveness. And to me, 3 and 1 is 4. And when we forgive, we forget more light on a situation. It shows us the bigger picture, because sometimes when we're upset about a situation, maybe we're hurt about something. If we reflect on it later, we might realize we didn't see the full picture. Someone might come and say, well, did you know? And that fills the missing link in the jigsaw puzzle. So the 13 really could be said, when you're moving into your heart energy, is the transformation of the ego. Because the ego self, my will be done in the 12, really does want to use the mind to box everything in. Whereas the heart wants to be unbounded, forgiving, compassionate, and we know Jin Shin is the art of compassion. And it's a journey, it doesn't happen overnight. But anyway, let's have a quick look at where number 13 actually is on our bodies. Here it is, just on the nipple area, left and right of the sternum here. And here's Mary's transcript from Safety Energy, Self-Help Book 2, where she describes the safety energy locks. And she tells you what it can help: chest congestion, appetite balance, reproductive functions, tension, stress of shoulders. And for those of you that are familiar, I've said this before, but those of you that have studied Jin Shin Jyutsu, textbook 1 in particular here, will know that the 13 flow includes the two fingers that Mary describes here, the index and the little. And it's the fire and water fingers of the water, the index, and the fire finger, the little. And we know, or those of us that have studied energy pathways will know, that the kidney pathway and the heart pathway, kidney being a water element, heart being fire, run parallel to each other up through the sternum before they dissipate one way into one chamber of the heart and the other back down into the kidney. So, very smart to use the index and the little finger. And then Mary talks to us about other practices. At the safety energy lock level with the fingers relationship, the middle finger harmonizes the 13, left and right. And then finally, because 13 is in our bust line area, we can harmonize it by holding what is known as the high 19s, the upper arms. So now you've seen it, we're going to do it. And we'll do this for 4 sets of 9 exhalation inhalations. Sitting up straight as you can. If you need a cush to support your back, get a cush. And then just relax those shoulders. And I think we can do, for this one, both hands. Why not? I like to think it's a good idea. Why would Mary show them both if she didn't think it was a good idea herself? We shall see, won't we? Anyway, it'll give us the opportunity to experience index and little twice over. Here we go. Start with the left or the right, whichever you want. Do a little bit of examination around the sides of the fingers, see which side feels more tender, and then we begin. And we exhale as we begin the 36 breaths routine. We let go of what we don't need in order to build what we do need. And the letting go, there's the rub. Can we be non-attached? Can we be in our heart and unconditional? Here we go, let's find out. And we're going to hold index finger for 9 exhalation inhalations. And then the little, choosing left or right. Here we go. Close eyes, turn off your cell phones, breathe out. As we breathe out, we draw in or attract light in all its dimensions, frequencies, and vibrations. Going down the front of the body, from the back of the head, the 4 through the 15 and the 7. Safety energy locks. And then 7, 15, 4. And feel that connection to the ground beneath with your feet as the energy reaches the big toe, the 7. And feel you're supported and loved and nurtured by Mother Nature. And then naturally receive energy from the earth beneath, the cosmic oneness, cosmic purified energy. And this energy goes back from the 7 through the 15, which is hip line, back up through the 13's nipple area, back to the 4. 8 more times. Here we go. As I like to remind you, this isn't a race. Your metabolic rate may be slower or faster than mine. Just let go and allow the energy to go its way wending its way in a spiral, releasing tensions, blockages, resistances, whatever you want to call them. The opposite to the flow of life is resistance, like in an electric circuit. Those false evidences appearing real, which the index finger helps us harmonize. And then as we reach the 9th exhalation, inhalation, we just simply slip into a neutral zone if we're not there already. And you can place your hands, if you haven't already, on the pubic bone, the center 15, and just relax and observe how you feel, where you may feel sensations or not. And you've really connected to the water element here on one level, and also large intestine on another, which is also all about letting go, right? So don't hold on to what you don't need. It's just excess baggage. Okay, now choose left or right little finger. The fire element. Also represents heart, small intestine. The small intestine is doing some letting go by sorting out. So let's do that. Sorting out the wheat from the chaff. Here we go. Breathing out. Just relax those shoulders. Index and little, by the way, will help the shoulders relax because of the relationship to small and large intestine. And if you can't feel it, imagine that you're letting go of all the burdens, the boulders on your shoulders, and sinking into the no thing, the 9th depth, the space where all transformation can take place. The burdens are lifting, and you're at that frequency and vibration of transformation, the death of things that are no longer of any value. Drop them. And then receive the cosmic purified energy. Golden, rainbow, purple, crystal, whatever color the light is. Feeding your cells as it goes down the front, up the back. And maybe sooner or later you're feeling a pulse in your fingers. The pulse that you would feel on the radial artery of your wrist will give you an indication that energy is flowing. And energy flows first and is then followed by the blood, which is what most people listen to when they're reading their radial artery pulses. The blood follows the energy, not the other way around. So when we feel that pulse, we know we have connection. We have liftoff wherever you are in the world, which could be Houston. And as we reach the 9th exhalation, inhalation, holding the left or right little finger, again slip into neutral space. Oh yes, Houston, Texas, space. Funny, not funny. Just observe where you are. And it is what it is, and as it is, it is. So just accept what it is in that moment. No need to resist what it is. And then we go to the next two practices, which are holding left or right middle finger. Lots of fingers involved with opening the heart. Have you got some clues there? Maybe you could hold index, middle, and little to really open and expand your heart. Anyway, choose left or right. Exhale, drop shoulders. Hopefully you feel like smiling a little bit more. And we'll do the job. Here we go. And if you don't feel a pulse, don't worry. It's not competition here. Energy moves at the pace it moves to remove the resistances that you uniquely have. We're all different, so no race, no competition. And doing the 36 breaths, by the way, will encourage the blood pulse and energy pulse to reveal themselves. And they're there. When we're tired, it's often more difficult to perceive them, but they still are there. All right, when we reach the 9th, we're acknowledging the space again for transformation, allowing it to happen. That middle finger has many powerful safety energy locks activated, also represents the spine. And if you put your thumb in the center of your palm while you hold the middle finger, you're activating the Source 26 safety energy lock. Okay, the fourth and final practice, holding the high 19s. So, you can hold them like this with a fairly firm grip. If that's uncomfortable, take one hand away and put it on your thigh, on the same side as the upper arm, left or right. Whatever is comfortable for you, sit up straight as you can, drop shoulders, breathe out. 9 exhalations, inhalations, here we go. Oh dear, excuse me. And when you reach the 9th exhalation, inhalation, you can either sit as you are or convert to a hug, thumbs underneath the shoulder girdle, fingers on that small intestine pathway, such as lock 26, side of the shoulder blade. All right, okay. Hopefully you're feeling different from what you were 36 breaths ago. A little bit more connected to your heart, or maybe majorly connected, more expanded. So now let's have a quick look at what's happening in the world of Jin Shin Jyutsu. Tomorrow, with yours truly hosting, Anita Willoughby and Chandra, finding all the recalcitrant links and sending them to you if you didn't get one. So Chandra and I will be helping Anita get her show off the ground, which is Back to the Breath for a Healthy and Happy Back. Get on back to the sacroiliac. Saturday, January the 29th, 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And here's what she's going to be doing. And at the moment, it's register here for 35. Want to use PayPal? Click there. 3 months of replays. Already begun the basic seminar with Sarah Harper. For those of you that want to expand and increase your insight into the art of Jin Shin Jyutsu and maybe begin the journey of being a practitioner, or maybe completing your requirement of at least 3 5-day basic seminars. All the information's here. Started on Wednesday, ends on January, replays for 3 months. So you can always catch up if you didn't sign up today or the day before. There's your fee, there's your buttons, and invite you to click on them. Coming up February the 5th, Reversing and Increasing of the Depths and Beyond with Walter Rodriguez Krause from Germany, long-term instructor. Always something interesting. Walter has written a book, as some of you know, and you'll find she has fascinating insights and in-depth inquiry into the reversing and increasing of the depths. Now, if you've not had the opportunity to see some of the previous classes, you can always get the replays by clicking on any of these links here, and then they'll take you to a page where the classes are all listed and the fees are available. Okay, I mentioned on Wednesday that we're discussing the possibility that in the future we may extend Harmonize to Energize on a Friday for 40 minutes to include questions, and there may now be a small fee. And we're going to have a little poll over the next 2 weeks to see what people think, what they feel comfortable with. It will mean that the Wednesday version will disappear in terms of a separate edition. My intention is to incorporate the story time in the Friday time from time to time. Did I say that? Anyway, that's evolving. We're discussing it, we're thinking about it, and we're wondering what people might think about that. We're also talking about the possibility of changing the software, the presentation software, going from Webinar Jam to Zoom. I know some of you are not too keen on Zoom because you don't like being seen. However, you can always click the video button off so you don't have to be seen. But some people find Zoom much more informal and they like to see who else is around. So we're thinking of lots of things. This is a time of transformation, number 13. And we're moving towards spring, a new awakening in a couple of months. So we'll see as we go along which way it's all going to pan out. So I hope you'll all bear with us as we go through these thoughts and wonderings, and let us know what you're thinking. In the meantime, if you want to chat to me about that, you can always email me on info@jsjinc.com. There will be a next Wednesday and a Wednesday after. I have a couple of presenters lined up from the community, so Wednesday's not merging into Friday yet. But anyway, thank you very much for joining today's session. I hope it was helpful. Enjoy the rest of your day. Be safe. Be well. Breathe out. Let go of what you don't need and bring in what you do, and feel your connection with your heart. I think it's pretty obvious that we all need to connect now more and more during these times of abject concern, fear, frustration, etc., etc. The focus is to expand and transcend that and go much more into the wisdom of the heart, and maybe we can get a bigger picture of what's really going on, and we can learn to forgive, put more light on a situation, because change happens. Whether we like the change is another matter, but it's a factor, and it's a fact of life. If we don't change and transform, we stand still. And sometimes standing still leads to stagnation, pain, inflammation. We don't really want that, unless we want to have that experience to say we've had it. Anyway, enough from me. Thank you all. Take care. Au revoir. Oh no. Oh no. I was going to say aujourd'hui. Au revoir. Today, aujourd'hui. Auf Wiedersehen. Cheerio. Bye-bye. And as always, it's been an honor to present to you. And for those of you that enjoy this, see you soon next Wednesday for sure. The replay will be sent to those of you that have registered, and if not, I will get around to uploading it today sometime, along with Wednesday's replay on Mary. So those of you that want to know a little bit more about Mary B and my connection with Mary Burmeister, that will be available on that replay as well. All right. Time to go away. Time to go away.